I now have a different car for every day of the week, but in my defence, 2 of them are for renting. The first one was this one, the Nissan Maximo, which is now up for rental, and the new one is the Dodge Avenger. So let's have a look at it. As the auctioneer said when it went through the auction lane, Avengers assemble. And nobody did, except for me. I put in a bid, and it was passed in, and then they talked to me, and I added a couple of $100 more to it, and didn't really pay much for this at all, which is good, considering it's only got 124,000 kilometres on it. And it's been one owner, as far as I can tell, from looking at the service books and such. Yes, so plastic is fantastic in this era of Chrysler vehicle. Now, there's one thing that is strange about this interior, and that is the placement of the raised plastic Dodge there. It looks crooked to me. And the former owner has put another Dodge badge under it, which is matched up nicely to the bottom line. And the top bit seems to be a bit high on the right-hand side. So I don't know whether that's design or just, you know, make do for the right-hand drive market. So it is very plasticky, but it's quite comfortable to drive. It's only a 4-cylinder. 2.4 litre. It sounds like a Mitsubishi Magna with the 2.6 when it's skating off from start. But it gets along fine, and it's got cruise control for the highway. And unfortunately the aircon is not particularly working correctly at the moment, so I've got to do some more digging on that. Radio's decent. Aerial's not fantastic, but the radio's quite good. And yeah, it's pretty much as you see it there. It's the Speedo. I have the same problem I had with the PT Cruiser that I used to own. In some light, it's actually hard to read what speed you're doing. See how you have to line up. See how 100 there is that brake, I presume, in the bone sort of colouring around the edge. In the middle of the day with harsh sun, or I can see the 100, but I can't see whether I'm matching up exactly to that break in the colour. So in these days of speed cameras pigging you for doing, you know, 3 or 4 over the limit, that's a bit of a risk. So I have to be extra careful. So that's the front, that's the driver's seat. Well, let's have a look at the driver's seat. So this is what it was like from the auction place. Quite clean. I think it's been traded in and detailed. Got a bit of wear on the door there, but that's to be expected for a car that's 17 years old. And the other thing to get used to with this car is putting the key in on the left of the steering wheel. And then in the back, you've got this bit of trim, which is supposed to make it look a bit swoopy and coupe-like. But of course, all it does is give the people in the back less space to look out the window. It does hide the lock, though. And I took the tint off the back window because it was bubbling, and I knew that would be an issue for the roadworthy. Bit of rustiness for the driver's seat there. As I understand it, the car did live on the Sunshine Coast, so may have gotten a touch of sea salt here and there. So anyway, for a rental, I'm happy. Whoever the previous owner was has put these on, I think. I don't think they come from the factory. In fact, they don't line up either, so yeah, they're definitely aftermarket. Let's undo the boot, or the trunk, or as this car calls it, the deck. And another thing with alignment is that the Avenger is not quite lined up, I don't think. It looks like Avenger. I don't know whether that's had been put back on by somebody in the past, or whether that's how it was for the factory. There is a bit of overspray here that I found when I was doing the high-level stoplight, replacing the bulb, so that's either from the factory or, once again, it's had some sort of problem. I've had these mats for years. I mean, 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 years. They're that old that they don't even sell this brand anymore. It's super cheap anymore, I don't think. I'll put them on the carpet to protect a little bit. Under here is a space saver spare, never been used. A jack that you have to undo to make it a bit skinnier, and then you can take the actual wheel brace off, which is on the top there, which has a fold out bit to grip the wheel nut. Not the easiest thing to use, as I found this morning. I had to get a screwdriver to open it up. You know, it's got little bits of surface rust happening here and there. Nothing too bad, but you know, it's lived a life by the sea. But you know, for a rental, for a little while, it'll do fine. Now, one thing with this is you've got your regular glove box underneath, and it's got the books, and then you've got a little cooler glove box on the top, which runs off the air conditioning. So once I get the aircon going, I'll be able to put some icy cold cans of Coke in there and give them away at shopping centres. Let's undo the bonnet while we're here. And it's on the left, of course, because America. So yeah, 2.4. Variable valve timing. It's not dropping any oil. I already replaced a little rubber thing at the back there on the back firewall, so that nothing could crawl into the car, because that was missing. It was easily sorted out of the wreckers. And as the roadworthy guy pointed out, it's had recently a new bit of cooling gear put on. Now, there is one more unusual thing with this engine bay. Where's the battery? You're probably thinking, well, it's in the boot, of course. No, it's not. The battery is behind this panel, down there. And you can charge it and jump start it using these points up here. But to actually do anything with the battery, change it or unplug it completely, you either need to be quite nimble and somehow get down that hole there, and maybe you can find the terminals, or you have to take off the guard liner, and that'll get you access to it. It's literally around about here, which is a very unusual spot.